Ecuador get their eighth draw in 14 matches under Sebastián Becachese, and while the fan base are completely done with him, I'll be discussing why I think that this draw isn't as bad as it seems. I'll start by saying that I understand the frustration of the fan base because it's been just a reoccurring result that we've been getting recently, and the fact that Netherlands went one man down very early in the game, we were in a position to just be able to take this win, and but once again we just walk away with another tie. And while I can see why a lot of people are frustrated, I don't think I resonate 100% with the reasoning behind it, simply because of the type of game this is. It wasn't the type of game that you can judge just like the other ones. Very strange things happened very early in the game, starting with a Pacho own goal, something that pretty much nobody expected. Coming from a very defensively solid team, and just a mistake that by chance happened to go in. Because I think even at that point, Netherlands didn't expect to get a goal so early. But not only that, I mean, a very early red card. I think in the 11th or 13th minute we get in our favor. So that just changes everything of what this game is meant to be. Because even before then, we saw a very different approach, a very different vibe to the game than after these two things happened. Before the red card, it was a very attractive game from my perspective. You saw both teams fighting for it. Ecuador had generated a couple of chances. I think in one where Valencia breaks away down the line and he tries to find Yeboah and he misses by a little bit. But we see just an aggressive tone to both teams trying to counterattack, trying to really have a very attractive just approach to the game. And in one of those, actually, Netherlands gets in a position where they almost score on Valle. And he makes that like kick from distance, and Valle has to like try to judge it as it tries to curl around him. And it was like I said, it was a very fun game to watch at that point, and I don't think at any point that I feel that Netherlands was the overall superior team. I think Ecuador was ready to take on the fight, and they matched it with what we had. And I just remember thinking that right after I saw Plata go down and I saw the red card coming, I a part of me just wanted Plata to just go and be able to move forward and score, because I knew that at this point this game would not be maybe the test that Begaches had wanted for his team. Netherlands would completely change the way that they play the game, and they would probably just want to sit back and try to maybe just get them on counters. And it wasn't going to test our defense to the max. It wasn't going to test our midfield to the max. But it was just going to be those type of games where they just try to park the bus. So from this point forward, this game turned into something that maybe Becachese didn't really expect. It ended up being a test to how he manages to break down a team that just completely stays back and has some quality in them, because even though they had 10 men, they managed the game pretty well for the most part. And I was interested in seeing how Becachese, at least for the second half, was going to respond, because I knew that maybe to make first half changes might have been too early to try to get his message across, and I would expect to see some changes for the second half. So starting the second half, Becachese put in Anthony Valencia for Alan Franco, and it seemed like a logical move. It seemed like a moment to be able to give him an opportunity without so much pressure of trying to recover in the defense. So I think in general it was a good decision. Um, Now, did it play out to how maybe we would have wanted? I don't think so. I think that while I saw a lot of presence from Valencia, I saw a lot of desire, a lot of hustle. I don't think he had the connection, the chemistry with the team in moments where the buildup happened or as they try to move the ball around. I also saw him struggling physically against these big Netherlands players. These guys are huge, and he ain't the biggest person on the field, so that cost him a lot. But I think it was the ideal moment to have him like, get at his opportunity, and I don't think the door is closed for him. I think we should still see him in different contexts, different games, different opponents. So throughout the second half, we maintained possession, we maintained dominance of the game, and that was really big for me to see. I think that if we had just kind of been in a position where we suffered from counterattacks, where we, even though we had that extra player, that we still weren't able to control the game, keep possession, I think that that would have been a such big red flag. Because, I mean, if you think about it, we are playing against the seventh best ranked team in the world. We had just played against the eighth best ranked team in the world. Currently, we're ranked 23rd. I don't see, like, while I understand the frustration, I don't see it as bad because we were able to still keep these guys away. We were still causing enough danger. They were still afraid. They were still feeling the need to stay back in their own half of the field. And I even with being a man up, when you think about a team, a powerhouse like Netherlands, not many teams can do that even with being a man up. And the dominance was so big to the point that we were able to bring in David Cabezas so he can make his debut and sub in for Valle that got injured. And I don't think I ever remember thinking or being worried that Cabezas would get scored on. I don't think he had any involvements, or maybe just one, but that's pretty much it. But being a man down allowed us to push our lines, and we were able to see Caicedo play more closer with the attack, and in one of those he enabled a quick ball to Valencia, which I think Valencia was just too slow to. He just missed the quality to get that ball rolling and keep the rhythm of the play. But it was the kind of Caicedo that I want to see on a regular basis, just more involved in the attack because he's really quick with his decision making, and passes like that right away that could just break that line off the bat is something that we need. So I knew that it was going to be an overall very tough Netherlands defensive line to try to break. They were able to try to minimize those spaces as much as possible, and I think this is kind of where I like Plata because even though he plays in Brazil, he hasn't been getting any playing time recently. He showed again his quality against a top national team, and I honestly wish he just managed to get his stuff together because if he continues this way, I mean, right now he's young, but if he definitely continues this way, I think late 20s, early 30s, he would just be irrelevant to the national team. So I really hope that he manages to get his stuff together and just get back to where with the progress that can get him to his maximum potential. But like I said, there's been top teams that have played against a defense like this that have just wanted to sit back in the back and not really come out of their own half, and it's ended 0-0. So it was going to be very tough, especially considering the quality and attack that we have, which isn't balanced with the rest of our national team. And there were a couple of runs where I saw Pervis Estupiñán make, and a couple of those he managed to sneak his way behind the defensive line, and I think there was two chances where I feel like he should have shot the ball instead of cross it in. So I was happy to see that, and again, it's not easy to do against these top teams. So this is something that I really respected. And ending with a tie against a Netherlands team that one is a powerhouse in Europe, and two was defending and had prioritized defending literally the whole game. I think that when you consider this context in this specific game, seeing that we were able to just control the whole game, we weren't able to score, which I'll get to in a second, but just being able to keep them in their own half, I think talks a lot about this national team. And you might want to keep the manager away. You might say, okay, well, it's not the manager, it's the players. Whatever the case is, we did what we had to do. We did not at any point feel threatened or lose momentum or lose possession. But even with the changes that we made, we were able to still be a threat to them. So, like I said before, this game ended up being a completely different challenge for BKC as things happened. Because this game ended up being a how do I attack, how do I get the result with a team of this level playing this certain type of way. And ultimately, for me at least, it came down to our shooting quality. Because this game could have ended our way, but we just didn't have the quality in front of goal. I think about Yavoa where he hit the post. It might have been unlucky, but maybe with that little bit of luck or that little bit of quality in the shot, it would have gone in just fine. The breakaways that Valencia had, I think, could have ended with a faster shot. Because looking at the numbers, we had 17 total shots, but out of those 17, 3 were on target. So, I mean, the chances were there, the shots were there, but the quality of shooting wasn't. And I know we had Jordi Casada go on, and in one of those, he just decides to go all out crazy and just shoot like I don't know. It just seemed crazy. It just seemed kind of like amateur soccer. So I think ultimately that's what BKC will need to focus on, and it's tough because who do we have that's going to give us the quality that we need up there to finish right away? And the honest answer is no one at this moment. So I was happy for him to. I was happy to see BKC give Arevalo a few more minutes. And these next couple of months are going to be very, very crucial if we want to get better in these situations. Because ultimately that's what it came down to. It didn't come down to finding our players inside the positions to shoot, finding our players behind the defensive line. It really just came down to that shooting quality. And if we were able to get it on target. So we'll see what BKC tries to do. And there might be very little he can do. So let's just hope that our attackers come in the best form possible as we get closer to the World Cup. So that way we can solve this problem.